Right now, this second, something feels wrong in the best possible way. It's like your life is still playing, but the picture quality dropped. The world is here, yet it doesn't fully load. Your job, your relationships, your routines. Everything looks familiar, but it doesn't feel like it belongs to you. You may be scared you're breaking down. You're not. What you're feeling isn't a malfunction, it's an update. Here's the truth. Your system is rebooting. Not because you failed, but because a higher version of you has reached back through time and pressed install. If you've ever seen a phone go dark mid-update, apps stop, buttons don't respond, nothing makes sense, that's you right now, not broken, buffering. Before we go any further, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because this isn't motivation content. This is a manual. And if you're in the middle of this glitch, you'll want the next part when the new interface comes online. Now let's name what's happening clearly like an engineer. In quantum physics, there's a concept that destroys the old cause and effect mindset. John Wheeler's delayed choice experiment. The simple version, a choice made at the end can decide what happened at the beginning. The present can rewrite the past. The destination can shape the journey. You've been trying to build the future brick by brick from the past. One step, one plan, one push at a time. That method just stopped. Because the future you, the version that already made it, already stabilized, already upgraded, has locked onto a timeline where you win. And the moment that outcome is observed, your current path gets edited to match it. Not gently, ruthlessly. That's why things feel like they're disappearing. It's not regression, it's deletion. Old habits, old attachments, old thought loops, even old relationships. Anything that cannot run the new operating system gets uninstalled. You can't run a quantum-level life on outdated hardware. So the system crashes the old interface on purpose. And that's the part nobody tells you. When the update starts, life looks like failure. The screen goes black. Your energy drops. The things that used to work stop working. If you didn't know an update was happening, you'd swear the device was dead and you'd start smashing buttons. That's what you've been doing, forcing a half-installed system to perform old tasks, then blaming yourself when it won't. Let's look at the error codes because they're universal. First, the exhaustion that doesn't make sense. 8 hours of sleep and you wake up like you've been running simulations all night. Coffee doesn't fix it. Motivation doesn't touch it. This isn't laziness, it's processing load. Your body is using most of its bandwidth to render a new timeline. Second, the emotional blankness. You look at people you've known for years and it's like the signal is gone. Not hatred, not anger, just empty. You feel guilty about it. You think you're becoming cold. You're not. Those connections were scripted for an older version of you. That version has been archived. Third, the forgetting. You walk into a room and you can't remember why. You lose words, you lose track. It's terrifying until you understand what it is. Timeline flicker. Your awareness is bouncing between two stations, the fading broadcast of your past and the incoming transmission of your future. For a split second, you sink to a reality where you were doing something else. Your brain struggles to merge the streams. And yes, there's often a physical sensation. Pressure behind the eyes, a high ringing in the ears, a sudden heat in the spine, not illness, voltage. Your hardware is conducting more current than it's used to. This also explains the loneliness. You try to describe it to someone and they stare at you like you're speaking another language. They offer linear fixes, take a vacation, get organized. But you can't organize a house that's being demolished. And the isolation isn't punishment, it's protocol. The system quarantines you so the download doesn't get contaminated by noise. So here's the diagnosis. You're in the gap between two worlds. The old world, where you had to force everything, chase everything, beg for clarity, has been deleted. But the new world hasn't fully rendered. You're standing in static, and the biggest mistake you can make in static is trying to fix static. Thinking harder, working harder, pushing harder, stop. You cannot repair a system designed to crash. It must crash so the new one can boot. Imagine you've flown a propeller plane your entire life. You know every lever, every gauge. Then mid-flight, the propeller disappears, the cockpit dissolves, you feel yourself falling and you panic. Reaching for controls that no longer exist, you scream, "It's broken!" But you're too focused on the debris to notice the truth. A new engine is forming around you. You're being upgraded from a biplane to a starship, and the biplane has to die for the starship to exist. This upgrade does not care about comfort, it cares about trajectory. If your job can't hold the frequency of where you're going, it will be removed. If a relationship can't run the new code, it will cool, distort, or disappear. It feels cruel until you realize its precision. The future you is an optimization algorithm. It scans your life and asks one question: does this support the final render? If not, delete. And you've been fighting the delete command, grabbing what's falling away, trying to pull dead timelines back into your orbit. That resistance is why you feel so tired. You're dragging a corpse and wondering why you can't run. So do this with me right now. If any of this describes your week, if your life feels pixelated, gray, off, tap like on this video, not for the algorithm, for you. It's a signal to your subconscious. I see the update. I accept the process. And in the comments, type, "Overwrite initiated." Make it real. Put language on what you're living. Then share this with one person who's been acting fine, but you can feel they're glitching too. Sometimes one video is the permission slip their system needs. Now, here's what we do next. We stop fighting the crash and we learn how to facilitate the download. We strip the fear out of this and look at it with cold, clinical clarity. Because the emptiness you feel isn't a void, it's capacity. The system is clearing cache, freeing space, shutting down background apps so something bigger can install. Let old files corrupt. Let the old identity freeze. Let the screen go black. Do not mash the buttons. Let the update run. In the next section, I'm going to show you the mechanics of the loop, how the future can pull you, why intuition is not a guess but a signal, and what to do when your old life starts ejecting pieces you thought you needed. Because once you understand the rules, the panic stops. The crash becomes a progress bar. You don't need to be fearless, you just need to be accurate. Your intuition has been treated like a feeling, a vibe, a guess. That's the old model. In a retrocausal system, intuition isn't a prediction, it's memory. Let me explain it in a way your nervous system can actually accept. If the future you has already locked onto a winning outcome, then information can travel backward through the loop. Not as words, not as a clear instruction manual, but as pressure, as pull, as a strange certainty that makes no linear sense. That's why you get urges you can't justify. That's why you suddenly feel repelled by things you used to tolerate. That's why a perfectly good opportunity feels like poison. It's not you becoming irrational. It's you receiving data from a timeline where you already survived the consequences. This is the part that flips everything. You're not pushing toward a future. You're being pulled by one. Most people exhaust themselves because they think they're building, brick by brick, day by day. They think the sweat is proof, the anxiety is proof, the grind is proof. But in the quantum framework, the destination acts like a magnet, and you are the iron filings. When the magnet turns on, you don't work hard to become aligned. You get dragged. The friction you feel is not failure. It's resistance against a force that has already decided where you end up. That's why this phase feels like losing control, because you are. Not to chaos, but to a higher order. Now here's where people mess it up. They feel the pull and they panic, because the pull doesn't come with a map. It comes with discomfort. It comes with subtraction. And the ego hates subtraction. The ego only understands addition. More money, more clarity, more stability, more certainty. But upgrades don't start with addition. They start with clearing space. So the system deletes. And you interpret deletion as loss. A relationship fades out and you call it heartbreak. A job becomes unbearable and you call it depression. A goal stops exciting you and you call it laziness. But what if these aren't tragedies? What if they're compatibility checks? What if the system is running diagnostics and removing anything that will crash the final version of you? Let's be brutal and honest. The life you were living was not designed for where you're going. It was designed for who you used to be. And who you used to be was built to survive, to fit in, to manage, to tolerate, to keep things running. That version was impressive. That version protected you. But that version is not the one who finishes this storyline. That's why the files are being archived. This is why you're experiencing what I call frequency blindness from the people around you. You'll speak and it'll feel like they don't even hear you. You'll explain what you're going through and they'll hand you a checklist. Try sleeping earlier. Go outside. Stop overthinking. They're not evil. They're not dismissing you. Their system literally cannot read your data packets. You upgraded your encoding. They're still running the old format, so when you speak, it's like you're sending a 4K file to a device that only supports 480p. It can't decode it. It just shows static, and this is where you need a firewall. Because the next danger isn't the crash, the next danger is rollback. Rollback is when you start doubting the update because nobody around you confirms it. Rollback is when you try to reinstall the old version just to feel normal again. Rollback is when you go back to the same people, the same habits, the same coping mechanisms, not because you want them, but because the unknown feels too wide. The system will let you roll back. That's the scariest part. You have free will. You can crawl back into the old timeline and call it being practical. You can pick up the dead relationship and call it loyalty. You can stay in the soul-killing job and call it responsibility. You can dim your signal and call it maturity. But your body will tell the truth. Because once you've tasted the new frequency, the old one starts making you sick. That's why your tolerance is gone. Your nervous system is no longer able to lie comfortably. So we need protocols, not affirmations, not quotes. Protocols. Here are 3 stabilizers, 3 tools to keep your new signal clean while the world tries to pull you back into noise. Tool 1. The pattern interrupt. This is the task manager of your mind. Because right now, you have background processes running without permission. Old arguments, old shame loops, old future panic. You know the feeling. You're driving and suddenly you're rehearsing a conversation from 3 years ago. You're showering and replaying a failure from 2015. You're working and your brain opens a tab called "What if everything collapses to boutiques?" It starts eating your RAM. You cannot reason with a glitch. You terminate it. The moment you catch the spiral starting, you do 3 steps. 1. Detect it. Notice the mood drop, the chest tightness, the sudden fog. That's the fan spinning up because a virus just launched. 2. Say out loud, stop script. Not in your head, out loud. Your brain responds differently when sound hits the hardware. 3. Change your state physically. Snap your fingers, stand up, clap once, wash your hands, take 1 sharp breath. This isn't spiritual, it's cybernetic. You're cutting the electrical pattern before it becomes a full program. You're reclaiming bandwidth. Every time you kill an old loop, you free up processing power for the new timeline to render. Tool 2. The future anchor. This is your desktop shortcut, because your upgraded frequency is real but it's new. And the old version of you has deep highways in your brain, automatic reactions, old identity reflexes. You need a shortcut that launches the new OS instantly. Pick 1 physical object you touch every day. A ring, a watch, a keychain, even your phone wallpaper. That object becomes your anchor. Every time you touch it, you pull in the feeling of the future self, not the image, not the story, the feeling. Calm, authority, safety, clarity, power, the future state. You collapse into it on command. You're training your nervous system to switch timelines like flipping a light switch. Touch the anchor, breathe once, become the upgraded version, then speak, then act. That's how you stop slipping. Tool 3, the glitch log. This is error reporting because the next phase will include bad luck, delays, breakdowns, sudden endings, and if you interpret these emotionally, you'll spiral. But if you interpret them as data, you'll stabilize. When something breaks, you log it like an engineer. Event. The deal fell through. Old reaction, panic, rejection, shame, new interpretation, incompatibility detected. The system removed a path that didn't lead to the final destination. Space cleared. Cache freed. This is the mindset shift. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this protecting me from? What is being removed to make room? Because the future you can see, variables you cannot. Sometimes a flat tire prevents a meeting that would have entangled you in the wrong contract. Sometimes a breakup saves you from a slow death of your signal. Sometimes a job loss redirects you to the only doorway that leads to the new timeline. The glitch log keeps you from making it personal. Now, here's the part that matters. These tools aren't cute habits, they are survival gear. Because you're about to re-enter environments that are still running legacy code. And if you don't protect your bandwidth, you'll start doubting yourself. You'll start explaining yourself. You'll start chasing validation. You'll start trying to make the old timeline understand the new one. Don't. Your job isn't to convince anyone. Your job is to stay coherent. And coherence is the secret that makes the loop work. When your inner signal stays stable, reality starts snapping into place around it. The synchronicities aren't signs. They're system confirmations that your connection is clean. The faster the confirmations appear, the closer you are to full render. So now I'm going to take you into the most important phase, the firewall protocols. How to interact with people without letting them rewrite you. How to maintain your new encoding in old environments. How to stop leaking energy to conversations that pull you backward. Because this is where most people fail. They survive the crash. Then they reinstall the old version out of loneliness. Not you. If you're still with me, comment no rollback. And share this with someone who keeps saying I'm fine while their eyes look like they're buffering. Now we install the firewall. Because here's the reality nobody prepares you for. Once you stabilize the new signal, the world doesn't magically upgrade with you. You walk back into the same office, the same house, the same friend group, the same family dynamics, same streets, same grocery store, same noise. But you are not the same node anymore, and this creates friction. You'll notice it immediately. Conversations that used to feel normal now feel exhausting. Jokes you used to laugh at feel flat. Drama that once pulled you in now feels like watching a low-budget rerun. You're physically present but energetically detached. This is not arrogance. This is bandwidth mismatch, and if you don't understand what's happening, you'll mislabel it. You'll think, what's wrong with me? You'll try to re-engage emotionally just to prove you're still normal. You'll over-explain yourself. You'll soften your edges. You'll lower your frequency to make other people comfortable. That's how rollback begins. So here's the rule. You are no longer responsible for syncing with outdated systems. When two devices run different operating systems, they don't argue. They don't feel guilty. They don't try to downgrade themselves. They require compatibility layers, or they simply operate separately. You are not here to downgrade. This is where frequency blindness comes in. People will not see your shift. They can't. Their interface doesn't support it. When you speak from clarity, they may call you distant. When you choose silence instead of reacting, they may call you cold. When you refuse to engage in chaos, they may say you've changed. You have. And that's the point. The firewall protocol has 3 components. First, controlled exposure. Stop oversharing your internal upgrade with people who haven't asked for it. You are not required to narrate your evolution. When a system is undergoing critical maintenance, access is restricted. Not because it's hiding, but because it's protecting integrity. You don't need to explain your detachment. You don't need to justify your new boundaries. Silence is not weakness, silence is encryption. Second, emotional neutrality. This is advanced. When someone tries to hook you into old patterns, gossip, complaint loops, reactive arguments, you don't fight, you don't correct, you don't defend, you respond with stable, calm neutrality, short answers, clear tone, no emotional spikes. Why? Because emotional spikes create energetic cords, and cords drain bandwidth. You are not here to win arguments anymore, you are here to preserve signal strength. Third, selective amplification. This is critical. You will notice that while some connections fade, others subtly strengthen. Random new conversations feel electric. A new idea excites you for no logical reason. A stranger feels oddly familiar. These are compatible nodes lighting up. Amplify those. Feed energy where there is resonance. Starve what feels heavy. Your nervous system is now a precision instrument. Trust its readings. Now let's address something deeper. You're going to feel invisible. Not socially invisible. Energetically invisible. People who used to text you daily may go silent. Invitations may decrease. You may feel like you're walking through a version of life where you no longer fully exceed in the same way. That's not rejection. That's rendering separation. When timelines split, characters shift servers. It's not personal. It's structural. They are not leaving you. You are no longer occupying the same frequency space. The overlap dissolves naturally. Grief may arise. Let it pass through. Do not chase. Do not reattach out of fear. Because here's the paradox. The more you cling to fading nodes, the longer the new timeline takes to stabilize. Detachment speeds installation. And now we need to talk about doubt. Doubt is the final defense mechanism of the old operating system. It will whisper things like, what if I'm imagining all this? What if I'm just tired? What if I'm making a mistake? What if I ruin everything? Understand this clearly. Doubt spikes right before full integration. Why? Because the ego senses its authority diminishing. The old identity feels itself being replaced, and it will attempt one last power grab. This is the moment most people abort the update. They get scared of their own expansion. They go back to familiar pain because unfamiliar freedom feels unstable. You must recognize doubt as a scheduled test. It is not evidence you're wrong. It is evidence you're close. When doubt appears, do not argue with it. Do not suppress it. Observe it like a pop-up notification. Old system attempting to regain control, and let it expire. Now let's go even deeper. There's something else happening beneath the surface that you may not have consciously noticed yet. Time distortion. Have you felt days stretching strangely long, but weeks disappearing instantly? Have you experienced moments where everything feels hyper-real, almost slowed down, or the opposite? Hours vanishing in what feels like minutes. That's timeline compression. When you're aligned with a future pull, unnecessary experiences collapse. Redundant lessons get skipped. What used to take years now happens in months. What used to require endless struggle now resolves with one decision. This is not luck. This is optimized routing. The system is no longer sending you through scenic detours. It's taking the fastest path, and fast paths feel intense. Which brings us to identity redefinition. You are not who you thought you were, not in a motivational sense, in a structural sense. The personality you built was a survival interface. It was shaped by environment, expectations, fear, and adaptation. It worked. It got you here. But it was never meant to be permanent. Right now, you are between interfaces. The old mask has been removed. The new one hasn't fully locked in, that's why you feel undefined. Undefined is not empty, undefined is customizable. This is the rare window where you can consciously choose traits instead of inheriting them. You can decide, I am calm under pressure. I speak less but mean more. I do not chase. I do not react. I observe first. I act precisely. These aren't affirmations, they are configuration settings. You are configuring the new system, and configuration requires awareness. Which is why this phase feels isolating. Because most people never reach it consciously. They run defaults until the end. You are editing your source code in real time. Now I need you to understand the magnitude of that. Most humans live inside reactive loops. Stimulus, reaction, repeat. Their nervous systems are automatic. Their choices are patterned. You just stepped outside the loop. You are seeing the code. Once you see code, you cannot unsee it. And that is why going back feels impossible. You're not meant to go back. You're meant to stabilize forward. In the next phase, we're going to discuss acceleration. Because once the firewall holds, once rollback is prevented, once doubt is neutralized, something shifts. Opportunities begin appearing faster than expected. Connections form effortlessly. Ideas arrive fully formed. Clarity replaces chaos. And that's when most people sabotage. Not because they want to fail, but because success at high frequency feels overwhelming if your nervous system isn't calibrated. So stay with me. We're about to calibrate. If you're still here, type stabilized in the comments. And share this with someone who feels like they're outgrowing everything but doesn't have language for it. You're not outgrowing everything, you're upgrading beyond it. Now we talk about acceleration, because once the firewall is stable, once you stop leaking energy, once you refuse rollback, something begins to happen that almost feels unreal. Things start moving, not slowly, not in the old grind-it-out way, but in bursts. You'll notice opportunities appearing without the usual chase, conversations lining up too cleanly, ideas landing in your mind fully formed like they were downloaded instead of invented. Problems resolving themselves with one decision instead of months of anxiety. And here's where most people sabotage. Because speed is intimidating. You spent years operating in delay, in resistance, in struggle. Your nervous system adapted to slow progress. So when life starts responding quickly, your body reads it as danger. High velocity feels unstable if you're used to crawling. That's why calibration matters. Acceleration without regulation causes self-destruction. You've seen it before. Someone upgrades, gains momentum, then crashes because they couldn't emotionally handle the new level. So we're going to stabilize the speed. First, normalize expansion. When something good happens, watch your immediate reaction. Do you celebrate or do you scan for what might go wrong? Do you accept the opportunity or immediately question whether you deserve it? Do you move forward or subtly delay? That hesitation is old conditioning. You were trained to associate growth with risk, visibility with judgment, success with isolation. So when the timeline begins rewarding you, your nervous system tries to slow it down to feel safe. You must override that. When progress appears, respond with calm acceptance, not hype, not disbelief, not fear, just, yes, this matches my trajectory. Second, regulate your baseline. High-frequency living is not constant excitement, it is stable clarity. If you're constantly chasing emotional highs, you'll burn out. The upgraded version of you is not dramatic, it is precise. Precision beats intensity. Instead of asking, how do I feel today? Start asking, is my signal clear? Clarity is the metric now, not mood. Third, protect momentum quietly. You don't need to announce every shift, in fact, don't. Momentum grows in silence. When something aligns, move. Don't over-discuss, don't over-analyze, don't poll 5 people for opinions. Remember frequency blindness. Most people cannot see your updated map. Their advice will be based on outdated coordinates. Trust the pull. Now let's address something deeper that you may not be ready to admit yet. You are becoming less reactive. Things that once triggered you barely register. Situations that would have sent you spiraling now feel manageable. You pause before responding. You observe before reacting. That's not suppression, that's mastery. Your nervous system is no longer hijacked by every stimulus. You've stepped into observer mode, consciously. And here's the secret. Once you operate as the observer, reality reorganizes faster. Because you're no longer feeding chaotic loops with emotional energy. You're not amplifying problems. You're redirecting focus. Attention is currency. Where you place it determines what grows. The upgraded you understands this instinctively. Now let's talk about manifestation, but not in the watered-down way it's usually presented. Manifestation is not wishing, it's coherence. When your thoughts, emotional baseline, and actions align with the future version consistently, the time gap between desire and outcome shrinks. That's why synchronicities increase. You think of someone, they call. You need information, it appears. You consider a move, a door opens. This isn't magic. It's signal alignment. Your internal broadcast matches the destination frequency, so reality has fewer corrections to make. Think of it like GPS recalculating. The more you drift off route, the more corrections you hear. Once you're aligned, the voice goes quiet. You just move. Silence means you're on track. Now here's where it becomes powerful. You are no longer trying to become the future version. You are behaving as if you already are. Not pretending, not fantasizing, operating. You speak differently, you walk differently, you make decisions from stability instead of fear. You stop negotiating with doubt, and something subtle happens. People begin responding differently. Not because you demanded respect, not because you forced authority, but because coherence is magnetic. Humans respond to stability. When your nervous system is calm, grounded, intentional, it shifts the dynamics of every room you enter. You don't chase attention, you anchor it. This is the new operating system. You are not louder, you are clearer. Now I need you to prepare for the final shift, because once acceleration stabilizes, once coherence holds, once rollback is eliminated, there's one last transformation: ownership. Up until now, you've been experiencing the update. From here forward, you initiate them. You stop waiting for life to adjust you. You adjust life. You become proactive with upgrades. You review your environment intentionally. You refine your inputs. You curate your influences. You build instead of react. This is where you move from upgraded user to system architect. And architects do not complain about weather inside buildings they design. They redesign. If a space feels heavy, you alter it. If a connection feels misaligned, you recalibrate or release. If a path feels stale, you pivot with precision. You no longer interpret friction as punishment. You interpret it as feedback. That's power. Now pause. Look at where you started when this video began. Confused, foggy, glitching, unsure whether something was wrong with you. And look at you now. Clear, structured, aware, intentional. The crash wasn't a breakdown, it was the loading screen. You didn't lose yourself, you shed outdated code. You didn't fall apart, you formatted for expansion. The old version of you is archived. It served its purpose, respect it, but don't reinstall it. You are no longer pushing a future uphill. You are aligned with one pulling you forward. And here's what I want you to do next. In the comments, type System Architect. Claim it, not as motivation, as identity. And if this transmission clarified something you couldn't explain before, share it. Someone in your life is silently glitching, thinking they're broken when they're actually upgrading. Help them see the progress bar. Subscribe if you're ready for the next transmission. Because this is not the end of the architecture. This is just the first full install. The upgrade is complete. Now build. Now we close the loop. Because there's one final realization that turns this from theory into irreversible transformation. You were never behind. Read that again. You were never late, never off track, never broken. The delays, the confusion, the collapse, the silence, they were synchronization. You thought you were stuck, you were buffering, you thought doors were closing, they were isolating your bandwidth. You thought you were losing people, you were shedding incompatible code. The reason this felt so intense is because the rewrite didn't happen gradually. It happened while you were still conscious. Most people evolve unconsciously over years. You did it in compressed time, and compressed evolution feels like chaos. But chaos is just information moving faster than your identity can process. Now you're processing it. Now you're stable. Now you're coherent. And this is where responsibility enters. Because once you see the architecture, you cannot go back to pretending you're powerless. You know your thoughts aren't random. You know your reactions are programmable. You know your environment responds to your internal state. You know intuition is signal, not imagination. You know deletion is protection. You know silence is power. You know acceleration requires regulation. That awareness changes how you move. From this point forward, your life will respond differently. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Watch what happens over the next few weeks. Conversations will shift, timing will tighten, opportunities will align with less force, old distractions will fall away more quickly, your tolerance for misalignment will drop to zero. That's not coincidence, that's calibration, but there's something else you need to understand. And this is critical. Upgrades come in waves. This wasn't the last one. You just completed a major install, but growth doesn't stop. It layers, and now that you've experienced one full rewrite consciously, the next ones will scare you less. The next time life glitches, you won't panic. You'll recognize it. You'll say, another update, and instead of resisting, you'll prepare. That's mastery. Mastery is not avoiding crashes, it's trusting the reboot. And here's what separates you from the version of you that started this video. Before, confusion meant something was wrong. Now, confusion means something is recalibrating. Before, exhaustion meant weakness. Now, exhaustion means processing load. Before, silence meant loneliness. Now, silence means installation. Before, endings meant loss. Now, endings mean optimization. That shift alone changes your trajectory permanently. Because perception determines participation. If you perceive chaos as punishment, you shrink. If you perceive chaos as engineering, you stabilize. And stabilized individuals bend reality faster than emotional ones. Now take a breath and feel the difference in your body. There's less panic, less noise, less urgency. That's not apathy, that's control. You're not rushing anymore, you're aligning. You're not chasing clarity, you are clarity. And from clarity, decisions become simple. You don't need endless pros and cons lists. You don't need external validation. You don't need guarantees. You measure resonance. If it feels aligned, you move.